for a particular reason. And so I wanted to kind of dive deeper into that and to kind of see what would happen if they were to handle the truth, or how can they handle the truth. But before we get started, make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. The channel is growing all because of the people that we have coming on the show and the content that's being delivered. The greatest show on the web. Let's get it. Hey, this question that we have is, what do people remember most about you after meeting you for the first time? It could be either a man or a woman, boy or girl, however you want to put it. Okay. Hopefully they had time to think. If they haven't, it don't matter. Here we go. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Professor. Jay-Z in the building.
Thank you so much for having me back. Yeah,
Have to-
and that's funny you said professor. That was my nickname as a kid because I wouldn't shut up with these questions. And now I passed that nickname down to my son. So that is right.
That's what's
Yeah. Yeah.
what you got on the question.
So for me, really the questions, I remember being a freshman in college and just constantly peppering people with, how does this work? How does that work? And so people just remember me being, first of all, seemingly very innocent and, friendly, probably overly so. Like my wife calls me a giant dog that thinks he's a poodle, right? Got big dog energy. So yeah, there's that in the questions.
Poodles are big, bro.
Say what? Oh, sorry, Chihuahua.
Okay.
Sorry, is that better, Terry?
No worries.
Start off on the good foot. See, I'm already learning stuff. Thanks.
I'm like, man, what poodle are you talking about?
Thanks, humble dad.
Listen, we all about solutions, man. Hey, welcome to the stage. We appreciate you for being here. Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, and next up on the stage is the one that always is coming with her glasses. I don't know if she's gonna have the bling today. Maybe, maybe not. It's me, Jamie, in the building.
What's up? No bling today. No bling. Keeping it real simple. I would say that what do people remember most about me after meeting me for the first time? She is not that bougie. She's actually thinks she's a comedian, and that's kind of like how that goes. You're really not bougie. You know what I'm saying?
So you think people think you bougie the first time they see, like just looking from afar?
Yeah, like just
Oh.
not approachable in a sense. You feel me?
Mhm.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
just some people, but then they go, "Oh, you're really not
Mm,
bougie." You know what I'm saying? Just, "Oh, okay, she real cool." It's just a difference once you start to talk to me.
I got you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can understand that. You say that you come across bougie just sitting down. That's interesting. So you must have like a rest and be face.
Yeah, for sure. I would
Okay.
definitely say that. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what it is then. Welcome to the show. Thank you. All right, here we go. It's gonna be good, man. Hey, none other than the voice of all reason, lost in translation. What's up, homie?
What's good? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well.
Good.
And yourself?
I am well. Thank you for asking.
I gotta
Thank
remember, I gotta ask because I don't want you to go mute on us today.
you. You know how it is.
For sure. What you got?
Listen, generally when people meet me for the first time is that they cannot believe that I'm a mountain of a man. You know what I'm saying? It's like people talk their talk online, and then when they meet me in person, they're like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Yes, you really do need to check your tone now. I'm in person." And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Well, I appreciate you for being here, for sure.
Thank you, sir.
Here we go. Hey, none other than the man himself, Prototype in the building. So, my
What's
guy,
good?
you
Living the dream.
for sure. What you got?
I think people take me as straightforward, aggressive to a man's man to a degree. It definitely depends on who, but I think the majority of people take me as straightforward, don't hold any punches.
That's what's up. So who we getting tonight? We getting the aggressive prototype, laid back, like what we getting?
It depends on what sparks the topic. You know what I mean? I'm interested to see how I'm even going to contribute to how a woman should handle truth. Because how could I tell her?
Hold that thought. That's what's up. Hey, welcome to the stage. None other than Miss Taken in the building. Red of all reds. How's it going?
Good.
Thanks.
The answer is that I'm a lot different than what they expected in terms of like just kind of laid back, cool to talk to.
You think you're cool to talk to, Miss Taken?
I think so.
Or you think that's what other people be thinking?
That's what other people think. That's what they've told me.
Oh, okay. Because we met twice, didn't we? We met twice. One was
Yeah,
at
we met at that
and-
ball thing that we had the first time. Yeah.
What'd you say? The what?
Was it the ball?
It was
when
a-
they had the event in Atlanta.
Oh, you didn't go to Houston?
No, I didn't go to Houston.
Oh, it was the other ladies that was at Houston.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, we did meet at, and then we did meet at ATL. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's very polite, for sure. All right. Welcome to the stage. None other than, I don't even know what I want to say about this young man, but he's definitely a philosopher. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Robert in the building.
Hey y'all, what's up, man? Y'all all right? I ain't seen y'all in a few weeks. I would say to answer the question real quick, man. I don't know what they remember so much, but I know what they always tell me. They always say, "I wish they knew this side of you," because they get like this weird. I guess people get weird vibes from me, like they're like, "Yo, he's real serious" or whatever. But like when I'm just chilling around my tribe, my circle, they're like, "Yo, they don't know nobody really know this side of you." So yeah, that's pretty much what I get.
That's what's up. I would say that people, after they meet me for the first time, is that I'm direct. Right? They quickly see that I'm giving you who I am at the beginning. You ain't gotta ask me about. You ain't gonna have to ask anybody, man. How about that? Like, is he really like that? No, the dude that you see on screen is the dude that you see in person. I'm very direct, kind of funny, and always inquisitive. So that's me. That's what I would say. Y'all ready? Let's get it. I wanted to start off with this particular video. Let me see if I can find it. I had just found it. It was from Kendra G. Not my wife, Kendra. Okay. But the other famous lady that has kind of took over Kevin Samuels' domain, if you will. And this is what she said, and I want to get y'all take on it.
A lot of women say I want a husband, but do they think about, do you really want to be a wife? Like, a wife really is a job.
Has doing this show changed your perspective on relationships? Tell me something that you thought before that changed your perspective now.
My average life is a 1% life, right? So for me, outside looking in, I didn't think it was far-fetched because I live in a world of successful Black men, right? And attractive. They don't always want to get married, but that's my common world. What I didn't realize is that people who don't even live in that common world, they still want that man. So what's happening is, like, a lot of women are negating their options. The real life option is the option in your face. So when you go to the grocery store, when you go to church, when you go wherever you're going in your life, whoever that man is, whoever that woman is, that is your real life option.
All right. So wherever you go, that is your real life option. And we're going to start with Mr. J. Zilla. What you got on it, sir? You agree, disagree, want to take away, add? What you got on it? Your thoughts?
I'm going to agree, even though I feel like it may be a bit incomplete. Now, we were just talking before the show started about, our reading habits. And so the idea that which you do most is who you are kind of falls into play with what she was saying here. So, yeah, I'm going to agree on that. I'm going to leave it with that.
Okay, who you got next?
I'm gonna go with Mr. Prototype, man. I miss you, bro.
Oh man, I don't know. Your options are the world tells you your options. You know your results, no matter what you think you are. You know what I mean? So whatever you generally get, you got to take an average, and those are your options. Did I miss the question? That's
The question is like she's saying for women, your options are basically around you. They're wanting these particular type of men that they hear about on these podcasts, but she's saying that you probably won't get him because you're not in that space. So, do you agree or disagree with that? Is he on pause?
I think he's frozen. Humble dad.
Okay, bet. Okay, so we'll go with he probably would call on mistaken. That's what he would probably.
Yeah, I agree with her. I feel like your options are based on your access. So whoever you have access to in like proximity to where you are or where you hang out with, those are who I think your options. Now, I do think there's a difference between the type of options you have based on what it is you're looking for. Because sometimes you can have access to people. It doesn't mean that that's going to end up being your man, but that could be a jump off. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it a whole lot of times at like basketball games. A lot of women have access to the players, but doesn't necessarily turn into anything more than a jump off. So, yeah, I agree with her. Is who you have access to.
It may be a jump off, not a wife.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who you got going next?
I have It's Me, Jamie.
And I think I'm just going to keep it simple and say, yes, I agree with Mistaken, even down to the jump off part. So I don't have anything too much to add. I feel like it's going to go a little bit deeper with the next question, though. So we'll see. Because I do got something to add. Let me stop lying. I will say that with social media being a tool for dating now, people actually do have access to a variety of people that they wouldn't have had access to prior to. So a lot of times people don't go out and approach people like they used to in the grocery store or at the bookstore. They are more in somebody's DMs. So a lot of times you could be in somebody's DMs and you don't know what they make, and they might be a six-figure person. And so really people have access to what they want at this point in time. So that's my answer, to be honest. Now, realistically, if you want to be treated right, you probably need to stay within your vicinity. But if you want to jump out into the sea, you know what I'm saying? There you go.
Interesting. Who you got going next?
Lost in translation.
Thank you, man. I'm glad you chose me. Listen, I remember when Kendra G had this conversation with Kevin, and she was going tooth and nail and refused to answer the question. You know what I mean? And to watch her develop and watch that knowledge finally wash over her, it's quite refreshing. But I hated that she got it too late. But at the same time, she had to go through enough people to realize that, you know what, I was wrong. And now I understand why Kevin said what he said. You know what I mean? As far as being people around you being your option, I would say your skill set determines and who you have available with you determines who you're with. Because you can have a whole lot of women hanging around NBA players, but if you don't have the skill set to be a wife, they're not going to choose you anyway. You know what I mean? And a lot of times people just think just because they have access to people, they think that they actually have access to people when they really don't. You know, you have access to the gym all day long, but can you bench press 350? You see what I'm saying? Can you squat 500? No, you cannot. You see what I'm saying? You can get rubbed up against your reality real quick the minute you try to attempt something that you've never done it before. So I would say this, yes, it's true partially, the people who are around you, but you also have to have the skill set to handle the mission at hand. And I'm gonna go with Robert next.
Hey y'all, your options are around you. I mean, I think it's about, in her perspective, because she was talking. So I think as it pertains to a woman, it's about being findable. So it's about doing the necessary work, the research, about doing the inner work interpersonally, you know what I'm saying? About, making yourself in a space where you're findable. And then there's one thing that we like to talk about on Give Me a Second podcast, shameless plug, is what are you willing to receive? And a lot of times while you think you qualify for said relationships or said, levels of access, once you get there, because there's some inner work that you hadn't done, you're not willing to receive anything. So even if the right person found you, he probably found you in a low place. And so then it's like, okay, does my level of access change? Does my level of, what I'm able to get in terms of a partner that's compatible with me? What does that look like? It's about, what are you willing to receive? And are you findable? And I think if we work on those things, those have nothing to do with relationship or access. It has everything to do with internal work. That's my thought on that. So that means I agree or I don't agree, but
no worries. Everybody's perspective is welcome, right? Ash, how you doing?
Hello. Hi. Sorry for
You
my
doing
darkness.
all
I'm much better now. Saturday, Thursday, Friday, half of Saturday I couldn't talk. Today I'm good.
That's what's up.
Good.
Welcome. Right. So we were talking about a particular video that I posted, that I showed. It's only a minute, so I'll play it again for you. And you give us your
feedback.
Yeah. Here we
A
go.
lot of women say I want a husband, but do they think about, do you really want to be a wife? Like, a wife really is a job.
Has doing this show changed your perspective on relationships? Tell me something that you thought before that changed your perspective now.
My average life is a 1% life, right? So for me, outside looking in, I didn't think it was far-fetched because I live in a world of successful Black men, right? And attractive. They don't always want to get married, but that's my common world. What I didn't realize is that people who don't even live in that common world, they still want that man. So what's happening is, like, a lot of women are negating their options. The real life option is the option in your face. So when you go to the grocery store, when you go to church, when you go wherever you're going in your life, whoever that man is, whoever that woman is, that is your real life option.
All right, you got it. So you can take it however you want to take it and respond to whatever part you would like to respond to. Whether you agree, disagree, had a question about something.
Yes, I just need a little bit of background. Was she saying that in her world, I is nothing but success? Because I can see where she's coming from, because with me being a bus driver and I drive the local routes now, I don't do the parking rides, which is just driving from the parking rides to downtown. So I don't see pretty much more business people now. I see more of everyday Joes or bombs, the Pookies. I see it all there, because with the buses, everybody's welcome and all their things, their household things, their whole house is welcome. I'm just being honest. Like, I literally have had a dude move all his stuff on the bus. Like, he got put out. Hopefully he found some
Tell us that story after you answer this question.
But that's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
So I can understand what she's saying. In your everyday surroundings, that is what you have access to, but not really. Because if that's not what you're looking for, why would you pick out of that pool? Because if you're not ready to be with that type of person, or feel like you have to work very hard to be with that person, why would you even pick it? Like, I kind of understand what she's saying about the seeing part, but I don't understand about the other extra, because you could be somewhere and not necessarily be in the same playing field as that person, because we everybody know opposite attracts. Sometimes most men are not looking for a woman that's career driven. They want you to be in the highs doing your wifely duty, and we've gotten away from that because we feel like the career is more important than being a wife. So that's my take.
Okay. Okay.
I kind of want to finish mine too because I had a power outage just now.
No worries. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm from the phone, but so I don't necessarily agree that your surroundings generate, is your options, right? Sometimes you got to go to where they're doing what you want to do. You know what I mean? So like if you stay in certain cities, but you have a more elegant way about you, you got to go where elegant people go. You know what I'm saying? And that's if that's your crowd, you know what I mean? That's the point you need to be in. Then when you get there, then whatever you can pull is what you can pull. But if you live in a city where there ain't, where they're not doing what you do or doing what you aspire to, like if you're an actress or actor and you live in Pittsburgh and and you want to be on Broadway, well, they ain't doing Broadway in Pittsburgh. They're doing Broadway in New York. You know what I'm saying? So you got to go where your people are. You know what I mean? And that way you could take a synopsis of what your surrounding is. So just saying, man, if the guy at the grocery store is all I got, you know what I'm saying, or vice versa, I don't think that's a good way to go about it. You got to get out of there so you can have some better options. You know what I mean? So if you educated, you got to go where other educated people might be. So
I got you. Anybody want to add? Go ahead, Jay.
I want to add something.
What Jay Zilla then lost?
Yeah, I like that. My question to you, Prototype, is it aiming at values or the type of job they have, their fashion sense? Like what are people looking for in their, I guess, immediate surroundings?
Well, I mean, depends on who you are, right? So like if you want somebody to do what you do, right, it's better to go find a pool of people that do what you do, and then you can look for the values. You understand what I'm saying? So looking for values in a pool that, like, these people don't do what I want them to do, then yeah, they might have good character and they might be a good person, but they don't have the aspirations or they don't do what I need them to do for my life. You understand what I'm saying? So if you like athletic people, well, you better be going to athletic events and getting in their arena, and then you can look for the character traits.
To answer your question, Jay Zilla, that was good.
Yes, sir. I know.
That's what's up.
He's a pro.
He's a pro. Laos, what you got?
I wanted to add to what Kendra said. Women like Kendra G and women like Ebony K. Williams, they think just because they're in the proximity of these 1% men that they feel like they're entitled to those men. I would lean back on the fact that if you're not having a skill set to be what these men want, just because you're in the arena doesn't necessarily mean that these guys are going to choose you. They have a very specific what they're looking for, and they don't necessarily have to settle for the same people that's in the same level as them. They will go and get somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of money, somebody who's not a boss chick, and they would marry, you know what I'm saying? They would marry those particular women, but they would overlook someone like Ebony K. Williams and Kendra G for the simple fact is they're not skilled at being wives, because if they were, they would be married by now.
Oh, that's tough. Hey, was you about to say something, Robert?
Yeah, that was a thought that I had. Y'all just sprang my mind a little bit. And so she said something about like if you find them at the grocery store or whatever. And what she was really trying to do is like a passive dig at people that don't go outside of their circle. And so my heart just went out for the people that like live in a space of disappointment. I believe it's one thing when you have disappointment, but it's another thing when disappointment has you. And I think a lot of times disappointment comes in your life to kind of shape what your future life looks like based on your experiences. And so I believe that there's a particular part of us as people, she was talking about women, but just us as people where I talked about being findable, but we also disqualify ourselves. And so while that's a form of settling, that's also a possibility where you're not in alignment with where you're supposed to be by virtue of calling, by virtue of connections. And so now not only have you limited yourself relationally, but then you've also limited yourself in terms of your future, in terms of, You know, like I believe that people unlock keys that unlock strategies for your life. And I just want, based on what she said, I'm just thinking like, man, I don't want disappointment to put me in a space where I don't even think I'm good enough for anything that's greater or outside of my sphere of influence. You know what I mean? That's kind of, you know, I got my brain going now. I'm good, sir.
I see. The part that I wanted to expound upon was when she said, being a wife is a job, right? And then she transitioned to going and saying where your circle is, or where you are is pretty much your circle to pull from. Well, I would have wished she would have expounded upon, but I think that's hard for her to do. But this is what I would say: marriage in itself is work, and it is a job. Being a wife is definitely a job, and so I'm curious to know, what do y'all think that women think marriage is? What do y'all think women think marriage is? I think I got this question. Let's see. As y'all think about it,
Marriage ain't nothing but work.
that's
You about to play a video?
no. I was trying to get to it. So I'm gonna ask it again. What do you think most women think marriage is?
So
somebody want to go first?
I kind of want to shoot first at this.
Let's get it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, I've been doing first. I've been doing good with first. No.
Well, you're gonna have to wait till
Why
after
you say
prototype.
yes?
Unless they want you to go first.
So long story short,
my
right? So I was just on a live with somebody, and she was talking about 50-50. My man shouldn't want. I don't want no 50-50 guy, right? So I'm like, are you looking for help or are you looking for love? Because if you're not willing to date somebody that's going 50-50 for you, with you, then you know what I'm saying. It sounds like you're looking for help. So I think that's what I think that's what most women think marriage is. It's help in life, like as far as paying bills, like a dude that can help them pay bills, or a dude that's going to dress them, you know, because they all like the guy that's going to like pick out their clothes. Like, I love me a man that can pick my clothes out and tell me what to wear or order my clothes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we be like men are like, yo, that's a kid. Like, we're looking for love. I think men are truly looking for love and another adult to help me life. But women are looking for, I don't know, a dad or something, or like I don't understand why they need so much moral guidance and leadership. And like, you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't add up, because you know, this is supposed to be new age where women have their own minds and women have this and that, right? So if y'all have all these gifts and talents that can help us like guide through life, and we go and looking for that, and then all we find is a bunch of women that want to be our daughters, then it'd be like, so that women are, you know, seems like women are looking for a father.
Women are looking for a father. Who you got going next?
Let's go as a mistake.
I told you, what did I say? Do I be knowing? Bruh.
Why did you say that? Did you call that?
I called it when you had went offline. I said, hey, you froze up. I said, he probably gonna call a mistake. So go ahead, going forward.
I actually think it depends on the age and stage a woman is in her life. I think the younger you are, I do agree with, especially at this day and age, that women are looking for or thinking that marriage is being rescued, right? Looking for a financial rescue, looking for a emotional rescue, all of, you know, in that arena. But I think the older a woman gets and begin to have more life experiences, that those ideas begin to change. And then I think at that point, I think they are now more on a level of saying that they want a partner, somebody to share life with, somebody to do life with. But I think in general, most women are not prepared for marriage in terms of what they think marriage is going to be versus the reality of what marriage is. Kind of like you have an idea of what being a mother is because you've had a mother, but you don't really know what it's like to be a mother until you actually have a kid. So I think that's kind of how marriage is like as well.
So what age do you see that shift change? 'Cause you say as the older as they get. So what's the transition age?
I would say, okay, in this generation.
Any generation.
No, I'm saying in this generation.
Are
I
you
have
talking
to
about
say
like
this
2024?
generation.
What do you mean by this generation?
I would say in like this Gen Z millennial age range. I would say probably around, I would say early to mid, like close to mid 30s.
So you're talking like 35, 36 is the transition where they're
I would
saying,
say about around 30, starting at like maybe 33.
oh, okay, 33.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. That they're saying, okay, now I want to marry for a different reason than the one I
Yeah.
had before. Ooh, that is
Mhm.
a conversation to have. Who you got going next?
I have Jay Zilla.
Let's go.
Thank you very much. Man, this is one of those depending questions for me too, because I do believe that your maturity isn't necessarily your age, is how much you accept your I guess training before you even start thinking about marriage in general. So for instance, most likely a two-parent home, you have that, you know, you have that example of a good father, a good mother, and their relationship in a marriage, and you start to want what you see. I mean, that's usually where we covet, right? We covet what we see. So if you're saying a dysfunctional single parent household, then maybe that's what you think, marriage is all about, right? Cussing each other out, calling each other out their names, yelling, all that stuff. But I think it just depends on the upbringing, all the way up to and throughout adolescence, before you start to get out into the world and see other examples, get exposed to different examples than you find in the home, and then you start to formulate your own opinion through your own experience.
Interesting. So what would you say on average? Because if you was to say, because most people are not raised in a two-parent household. So what do you think is being shown on average for women to think what marriage is?
Oh man, Real Housewives.
Okay.
I mean, you look at TikTok and Instagram, it's a lot of toxic on the men's and women's points, but the two-parent home is just an example. So for instance, I was raised by my mother in a single parent home, but she quickly got me into sports, Boy Scouts, church, right? So she got me around men who were doing positive things in the community. So I was at least exposed to how good men act and not just get, the D-boy on the street or something like that. So I think it depends on what you're exposed to, and then you can use that with your own experience.
Yeah, I'm not really answering the question, but okay. Hey, who you got going next, Jay Zilla?
Look, I want to speak to you in the chat, but we'll go with It's Me, Jamie.
Let's go.
All right, so I'm going to say something that probably nobody's going to like, but I had watched a few women's what do you call that, vows, while they were giving their vows or saying why they were excited to get married. And these were women, different age range. And what I noticed that they said was, he chose me, right? And so it is, one, the validation of being chosen to be a wife. They may not know exactly what that looks like when they get into it, but it is the validation of being chosen. right? And then I put the flex of being able to say my husband, because I anyways, no comment. And then the other one I put was the ring.
Say that. No,
And
no, go back. Say that. You said that
the
men
flex of being
want
able to say,
to say that's my husband.
or my husband. Yeah, like I have a lot of my married friends. So a lot of times it's like my husband, my husband, my husband. And that is how they talk. And sometimes I felt like it was just for them to be able to say it, even if it was not needed in the conversation. What? You know, I mean, like, you've never been around people like that?
I do.
I was like, oh my God, that wasn't necessary. But okay, I got it. You got a husband, friend. I understand. And I'm happy about it. But good Lord, you feel me? Not just, he got a name, you know? So
I would check that friend, you know, see if she's really your friend, because why she's trying to flex on you.
that is true. I mean, yeah, you and you're right. You're right, prototype. You're very much so right. Now that I thought about that. Okay, so then the next I put was the ring and the wedding, and the fact that they can post couple goals. So again, these are all selfish things. It was never really to be a helpmeet necessarily. That's on average, and
Gotcha.
that's my answer. But I do think that's a great question that I'm going to add to my podcast, because I didn't even think to ask that question, to be honest. But
Listen,
thank
man.
you.
Most people don't ask questions like I ask questions. So
Yeah, that right there. I was like, wait a minute.
I only
I ain't
thought
never
about
asked him
what
that.
she said. What she said. And last week I said that women are not wives. I said that last week, right? So, so that's why that's why the video sparked my interest, and then that's why I had the question. But I'll elaborate later if I need to. Who you got going next?
Yeah, because I was just about to ask you something. I'm glad
Okay,
you said
bet. What you gonna ask me, Mistaken? We having a conversation. What you gonna ask me?
You don't think that women could develop into wives with the right leadership? Or do you feel like they have to be wives first?
Well, if I was to do what I always try to do and go by the word of God, it says that he who finds a wife, meaning that when I'm looking for a wife, then she should already be there, right? So if I'm like you go shopping and you want to get you a new hairdo, right? You say, okay, can this person is this person a good hairdresser? Or you're gonna be like, you know what? I don't know if she's a good hairdresser or not, but let me give her an opportunity to do my hair. No, you want her to already be certified as someone who could be your hairstylist. So the question is that they should already have aspects of what a wife is, because I'll look at it, I'll connect it to what you said, somebody said about being a mother, right? There are women out here having babies that shouldn't be having babies, right? But there are some women that are, you can tell they're going to be good as mothers, even though they're not mothers yet, right? So as it relates to a woman needing to be a wife, she needs to have at least the characteristics of being a wife. What that looks like is different to every man, but for the majority of men, we want peace, right? We want somebody that punani, right? Often as possible, okay? And we want to be able to protect you, meaning that we want to be able to be the lead in the house and be able to kind of direct you, but also at the same time, good leadership accepts what it is that you have to say. Because if that man is not willing to hear what you have to say, then he don't really respect you in that manner, in my estimation, right? Because when men are choosing a wife, they see how she is going to be able to help him move his business, as Prototype would say. He's not looking for you to just be at home and just cook. and clean. That's not all he's looking for. So can they be once they get married? That's all about if they wasn't in the beginning, then they can be, but it's a matter of mindset, right? Because once they get married and now is there, just like a mother who has never been a mother before, if she has the mindset to say, I'm going to be a good mother, then she's going to equip herself to do so. Whereas if a woman comes into a marriage and she's not necessarily sure she's doing a good job, then she should be leaning on others to see how she's doing or how she can become even better. That's my long-winded answer. Does that answer the question? That's a bit.
Yeah.
Can I ask? Can I interject? Not interject.
Absolutely.
I want to throw a question out there for probably next week, right? And that's, what does peace look like for men?
I like that.
We on the women tonight, but next week.
Write that down.
Say send that to me. You can text it to me. Chat gonna go away. Man, that's a good question. What is peace to somebody? Okay. Who went? Was it Jamie? You went last? Who you got going next, Jamie?
Did Ash go?
No, not yet.
Okay, Ash.
Yeah, I done said everything. I'm done. I'm logging off. To me, what I see is what y'all already said. It's the parties. Like Jamie said, my man, my husband. Because some people wear it out. Like you forget their husband name is Daryl. It's husband. Because I have an uncle. We don't know his wife. His wife real name. It's my wife. It's not wife. It's my wife. I love you, uncle. Don't come for me. It's my wife. Yeah, I'm gonna go in there and ask baby. I'm gonna go talk to baby. Like, we know who that woman is. We know her name. It's okay that we know she been there for I don't know how long. But anyway, that's not none of my business. I stay out of married people's business. But most people, I think now everything is diluted to we gotta show up the next couple type thing, if that makes sense. It's not we work on what we got going on in the house. It's we polish and bronze our image. So when we go outside, we shine brighter than the next couple. We're out here looking like a couple goal when we're really in shambles inside the house. You know how some people, they only work on the front of the house, but the back of the house got a big old hole in it, the back roof falling in, but the front of the house look nice. It's all glitz and glam in the front, but it needs work in the back. And that's my take, and I'm gonna go to Lost in Translation.
Thank you, ma'am. Humble Dad, the average woman is not prepared. And I'll give you an example. The reason why the average woman is not. The average woman squanders the opportunity of marriage. And I'll explain to you what it is, man. On average, I'll give you an example. Say, for instance, the lesson that I had to learn was that nothing alive comes from something dead. You know what I mean? A marriage is pretty much like a garden. You start off with a certain amount of seeds. The normal woman would actually take their fruit, eat the fruit, and throw away the seeds. But a skilled woman will actually save those seeds, plant them, water them, grow and multiply whatever it is that you give them. They take care of it and they cherish it. Well, guess what? Your marriage is pretty much like a garden, but you can't let it die. That's the reason why most women don't know how to do that. They look at marriage as a rescue point, as somebody looking to save them, versus squandering the opportunity to have the cherished moment to garden and to flourish and to make their marriage grow. Imagine if you had good words, kind words to say to your husband every day. You water your husband every day when you do stuff like that. You refresh him, you replenish him, you give him the stuff that he needs, the fertilizer, the sunshine to grow, and vice versa. If the husband has something pleasant to say to his wife, or he's always doing something in kind for her, you're actually making sure that it does not grow. She does grow, because anytime you let something die, I don't care how much you water it, it ain't coming back. I had to learn that lesson the hard way. You know what I mean? I had a bunch of plants. I had what's known as a fiddle leaf fig, And I would never water that thing because people say you watering it too much. So one day I looked up and it was dried up. I don't care how much water I poured on that thing, it wasn't coming back. And that's the main reason why I say that most women, they squander the opportunity for marriage because they don't take the opportunity to look at marriage as a garden, something to work with, something to do, versus, hey, I'm just in it, just to be rescued. They don't use that as an opportunity to make their life flourish. It's the same way, Humble Dad, where you have two people and you have one person who's a stone and another person who's a stone. And in the hands of a master mason or a chiseler, you actually chip away those particular parts that you see. And then once you're done, you reveal to the person, said, this is how I see you. And then in that moment, they reveal to themselves that they're greater than what they thought they were. So my thing is this: you have to make sure that when you're in a marriage, you find somebody who gets into the marriage and look at it as a means to advance one another, a means to perfect one another, a means to reveal to that person who they are. Say, hey, this is how I see you. Look at you. You're wonderful. You see what I'm saying? And I think most times what people do is they get into relationships and they don't do the work. And it's like, you weren't who I thought you were. But if you had only picked up that chisel, if you only had picked up those skills, if you only had toiled in your own garden, you would have a better situation that you have right now. But to answer a question, the short answer is no. Most women, they don't take the opportunity to actually better their marriage. And I'm going to go with Robert.
Hey, y'all. I just want to say really quickly, Jamie, you was all up in my notes. So yeah, flex and like validation, right? Because I was talking to one of my homeboys earlier this week, and he said, man, it's crazy how, the choices that we have in life, men choose who they marry and women choose who they have sex with, right? And so he was saying, so we talked about that. And so what the flex does to another level is it brings them validation. And oftentimes they use that to discredit other people in their circle. And so, and I don't know why I'm on this today, but like, it's just about like, we were talking about the people that you're around, man. Like, I don't know what the need is for validation or to put yourself over people or to make you feel like you're better than anybody in the room, man. It's about running your race. They also see it as safety. You know what I mean? They, I get it. We're by nature protecting, providing provision, an element of safety. My old lady tells me all the time when I'm home, like I travel a lot. And she tells me all the time, like, I sleep better when you at the house. You know what I mean? So whatever that looks like, they see it as safety. They also see it as relief. I ain't met one woman that said, I can't wait till I get a husband so I got to take the trash out. You know what I'm saying? When I get a husband, and he gonna make sure my brakes is good or my oil is changed and stuff like that. So they while it may be seen as, them taking a step back, they look at it as relief. And I also believe they believe marriage is what they see on IG. And the truth of the matter is, while we have more good days than bad days, the bad days do exist. And the unfortunate part is that when you have one of those bad days and it doesn't look like what you see on IG, then the real person comes out, which is why I say you got to be able to tell people no early. I got a post right now that's kind of like going in a good and bad direction right now. But what I said, that you got to be consistently inconsistent. And all women said, that's the worst advice that I've ever heard. But if you would have got more context and listened to either the whole podcast or even the rest of that clip, what I was talking about is guarding your best yes and conserving your no's so that they have currency and they have value. You know what I mean? And so I always talk about saying no at the right time, especially when you're getting to know somebody, so that, you can see person in all their seasons. And you need to see that before marriage so that you'll know how they'll operate in marriage. And so that this question right here, it says, what do women think, or hold on, what do most women think marriage is? I believe we as men, we can shape what their definition of marriage looks like before we even enter it.
Okay. So we can shape, as men, we can shape how a woman sees marriage. Is that what you're saying?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
I believe you can. Yeah. Purpose, motivation, and direction.
Okay. So then you would lean more on that men need to be fixed for women to fall in line.
So I don't know if I would use the word fixed. I would just say that we would need to be developed. We would need to be matured.
Hold on real quick. Can you look up the word development? And
I can, yeah. I mean,
and you will see that fix is in there.
it might be there. You know what? My bad. You know, I
Because that's what that is.
stand correct. Let me see. Develop definition. Let me see. Let me look real quick. Hold on. No. Definition.
Listen, we be trying to use pretty words. Listen, dudes, if you're saying dudes need to be fixed,
I don't see it. It says advanced or elaborated to specified degree, having specified physical proportions, advanced economically and socially.
okay.
It doesn't say fixed.
Okay, bet.
Apologize.
Okay. No, I do. I was about to actually. I was about to. Okay. So you're going with that they need to be developed, meaning
developed, matured, learned, you know.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
So how do they do that?
I think prototype, I don't want to say it the wrong way because I don't need you to correct me, prototype, but you know, time, experiences, lessons, you know, and I think I commented behind you one time and I said, you know, you got to get to a point where you stop breaking your own heart, and that when you're tired of, you know, whatever it is that you're doing that's not helping your life, you'll change it, you know, but you got to have enough negative experiences or just experiences, period, you know, where you have, you know, vision for yourself.
Well,
I believe men can't give vision to others if they don't have it for themselves.
you know how they say you can either learn by doing or learn by listening or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, you don't got to try crack to know you don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? You can. So it depends, right? So if you have a father who develops you in the right way, then you don't necessarily have. I mean, there's still some things you got to iron out, but you don't necessarily have to go through so many trials and tribulations. Um, I'm definitely not going to tell my sons to live the way I did when I was, you know, through my teens and young 20s. You know what I mean? Like, I'm leaning towards, hey, pick one. You don't need all that experience with all these different girls or whatever. Look, man, find one that you really care about and go through that. And if it don't work out, fine. You made yourself a better person long run. You know what I'm saying? So don't never be afraid to love. You know what I'm saying? If it don't work out, that person do you wrong, you're still a better person after it. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how they treated you or whatever. So just learn from whatever. Go in full throttle. Just don't crash out. But I've seen that post you said about whatever you got going, and that's a very man thing to understand, because we understand that you got to kind of play the game, because women just don't they don't do well with straightforward. You got to like do the three she shell things with them, like for some strange reason. We hate it, but we learn that's how we get our best results. So it is what it is. I mean, I want to go on to the next question though. But
That's a bet. We're gonna go to it because it aligns. So the next question is, why is accepting truth important? Why is accepting truth?
We talking about the women?
Yeah.
They don't accept the truth though, but okay.
Listen.
That is a lie. I have accepted the truth, and that's why I'm sitting down and trying to act like a lady right now.
Listen, you're trying to act like a lady? Like you should just be like, what are you talking about?
It is not working.
Truth. That's what I'm talking about. Right?
So this is the reason why I'm saying this is because let me give an example, if I will. I'm gonna try to get to it very quickly. I was having a conversation with a young lady at work, and I was telling her about the bill that was passed when the person the lady wanted to end the life of her or terminate her pregnancy, and the child was born, and there was a bill that was passed. I think it was called Born Alive, right? So Born Alive bill. Anybody know about it? Okay, one person. Okay, there's a bill called Born Alive bill that it was supposed to protect the child once they were here on Earth and they were still alive. Okay, and that bill was passed. Most Democrats, if not all of them, voted against it. Okay, one of those persons being Kamala Harris, right? And I know that because I went to go research and read the bill. Okay, not because of not anything that anybody said. I literally went to go read it and find out for myself what was going on. Her and I think Corey, some Booker, whatever his name is, the other black dude that was running as well. And so I showed this to the lady, right? And I said Kamala Harris was against protecting the child once it's born. She said, nah, maybe there's some other stuff that's in the bill, because maybe that's what she was voting on, because she said it was an extreme bill, was her words. Okay. And I said, no, I went to go show her the bill. There's nothing else in the bill other than protecting the child that is born. And not only that, if the doctor was to not perform what is needed to keep the baby alive, then that doctor would be prosecuted. However, the mother would still be off the hook. Okay. Now, I said that to her. She was like, nah, it gotta be something else. Here is the point of what I'm making. If she would have accepted that was the truth that was going on, that meant that there was going to have to be some soul searching done on her behalf, because she has put in her mind that a particular group of people cannot be wrong. Right? And for us to be that way, that's dangerous. Like when I show a case in point, I handled the truth when Robert told me, no, you was wrong. And I said, yeah, you're right. Right? There's no need for me to defend my wrong answer. Right?
I didn't mean it like that, man.
No,
I'm sorry.
I don't take offense at all like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with learning. Right? So that is the premise of where I'm asking that question. Hopefully that gives some context to what I'm saying. So the question is, why is accepting truth important? Why is accepting truth important? And we're going to start with Miss Taken.
Accepting truth is important because it helps you. If your intent is to become a better version of yourself, then the truth is very important, because that will allow you to see specifically what areas you need to develop or fix. It allows you to see what areas you need to develop or fix, so you're not continually living in a way in which will limit your growth. I will go with Lost in Translation.
Thank you, Ms. Taken. The question is, why is accepting truth important? I'm going to re-gift a message that Robert just said, so you can stop breaking your own heart. You know what I'm saying? Here's the thing, man. It's hard to see your own flaws when you're in love with your own imperfection. You know what I'm saying? Just to give it to you, man. I know that's a little baby bar, but let me give it to you, man. Let me re-gift it, okay? And how I saw it. How should I say this? I have a friend of mine, well, several female friends of mine. They don't understand the reason why their relationships don't work is because they don't offer anything to the men in the relationships. And the minute that I tell them that, they don't believe it. Then I turn around and give them examples on why. I asked them, why is it that you want to be in a relationship? Oh, because he's cute, he's this, he's that. So any old man will do. I said, that won't work with most men. Most men need to know a reason why you're in a relationship with them. I said, when you do stuff like that, you open yourself up to all type of, people that want to use you. And you wind up breaking your own heart because you don't accept what I'm telling you. If you have abandonment issues, you'll overlook certain things, It's one of those situations where you want to believe and hope in something so bad that you don't see the red flags, And for the most part, other women will coddle other women and just tell them what they want to hear instead of telling them the truth. The truth is, you don't know how to be a wife because you weren't trained how to do that. You don't even know how to pour into a man to grow, to have those kind words to say. All you feel like is you have to do is just show up, and here I am woman, you are now complete. That is not how men operate. You see what I'm saying? And the killing part about it is to watch them do the same thing over and over and over again. And I keep trying to tell them, that's the reason why you're not ready. Stop breaking your own heart. Get prepared, get therapy, Get to know those dark recesses in your life where you're afraid to confront. And if you fix that, then you won't have to run into the same type of person over and over again. And you'll stop breaking your own heart, and you'll have more to offer to a relationship. And if you have more to offer to a relationship, then you'll be more leery about who you let in. You see what I'm saying? And then that way you actually add value to the relationship versus a person who just says, hey, I'm just here now. You see what I'm saying? You actually have the ability to nourish your children. You have the ability to have kind words to your husband, to give him ideas, to give him perspective where he doesn't see. Be his eyes when he's rubbing up against his own insecurities. You see what I'm saying? That is a skilled woman. But my thing is this, if you're not prepared to do that, then you should not be married. I always said it before. Selfish women should not be married. And that is the reason why. I'm going to go with Miss Taken.
I went already, but it was something that you said. I'm trying to look for the right way to say it. So it sounds like in these spaces and some of what you guys were saying, that you as men have the opportunity to develop and grow, and you're looking for a woman to help you with that, which to me kind of feels as if the woman you're looking for should already be developed. And that's why I asked earlier about, is it possible to develop into a wife depending on the, person that you're with? Because I think about where I was when I first met my husband at 18. I really have I grew up with my mom and dad, and I knew that at some point I was going to get married, but I knew I didn't want their marriage because it wasn't necessarily a great example. And when I got married, I couldn't say that I was necessarily a wife based on what you were saying. I didn't know how to pour into my husband or, help him develop into a man. Like, I didn't know any of that, but I had to learn and grow into developing certain things in myself first before I could begin to do what y'all are asking. And I think it's kind of like a lot of pressure, I would think, if you're as a woman and wanting to be married and hearing that you have to have all your stuff together before a man even looks at you, because what he's looking for is somebody to develop him, but yet you don't necessarily have anybody to develop you into the woman that you need to be. He wants you to develop into the woman that he wants you to be. And those are two different things.
Look, why are you grinning, HD? So I don't think it's a thing of we're looking for a woman to develop us. I think men, we grow up battle testing each other, right? So when we finally come to our counterparts and y'all have nothing to offer, we'll be like, well, what y'all been doing all this time? You know what I mean? It's like, don't you have, like, nobody taught you nothing? You don't know how to cook? I got to teach you everything. What you been doing? Because I know me as a man, I can fix stuff. I can change tires. I know how to do certain things that I don't expect you to do. And I'm coming to you expecting you to know how to do certain things. We don't have in our head that we now have to teach you how to be our wives. We're thinking you coming somewhat assembled, you know what I mean? Maybe not fully assembled, but something. You know what I mean? Like, especially like when y'all bring, like, have kids together or whatever, like, hey, you've been playing with baby dolls all your life. Don't you know how to change the baby? I got to do that too. Like, I think you've been playing with, like, I wasn't raised on bottles. Like, you know what I'm saying? You grew up playing with bottles and stuff. Don't you know how to make the bottle for the baby? Or I don't know, you know what I mean? So it's not that we're expecting you to be already assembled, but what do y'all be doing until we meet? Because I know we're kind of battle testing each other the whole way. Learning this, learning that, learning how to do the man stuff. You know what I mean? Doing yard work, that kind of stuff, learning how to make a couple dollars. Like, so it's all those things. And then like I said, we come to y'all and we finally try to get a woman and y'all don't know nothing. Like, y'all don't know nothing.
But you
But
notice
let
that
me
the
answer
things
that.
that you were saying
Some
that
of
you were
us,
developing are the things that are, I'm not going to say necessarily natural to you, but are physical aspects of things that you would do as a man, as opposed to the area that most women need in a relationship is the emotional part. And y'all lack that coming into a relationship. And
I
that,
don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I find men being way more emotionally accepted and open than women are. Like, I don't know, but me and my peer group, we tell each other we love each other all the time. Like, if you play football, it's nothing but love. I love you, bro. That's my brother. We're very open about expression. I think Jay Zilla, he's a football player too. We're very open about expressing each other. We have years of passion
y'all do
that
that with each other.
yeah, yes, with
There's
each
a
other. So when
difference
we come to y'all,
between
and then our interactions with our mother and our grandmothers and those kind of things, we understand that what we're supposed to be getting from a woman when it comes to like that femininity. And like I said, when we come across and we're expecting y'all to have that femininity, that soft, nurturing, hey, I gotta tell you to rub my head. Why I gotta teach you that? You should just know how to just rub my head. Or you know what I'm saying? You should just know that I need to lay down. You should know not to be bickering at me. Like you should know certain things already. Like why don't you know? Why do I gotta teach you step by step? It's like having another child. And that's the frustrating part. So what are y'all doing? Like, where's the what are y'all doing until we meet?
it's not taught. How many times I got to say this? I'm getting sick of y'all. Every child, every female in every house is not raised up to be nobody's wife. Some of us are fortunate to have grandmamas, aunties, mamas, and stuff in those situations. Some of these little girls is not taught how to be no wife, and I'm gonna say it again, they're not. And I'm gonna tell you how I know this. I had a friend. Now, mind you, her mom and dad is married, but you had the grandmama. I didn't meet the grandma. I'm glad I didn't, because I probably would have said something. I got put out of the house. But she told the little girl, if you ever broke, you shouldn't be, because every woman got a pocketbook that she can always use. If you understand what that means, because I said it before in this podcast, if you understand what that means, that's that horism that I talk about. Like I said, a lot of little girls are not they don't grow up in that instance of love. They don't grow up in the instant of seeing their mama being filmed. They grow up in the instance of seeing their mama taking care of everything. Cause I remember this. Me and her ain't friends, but it don't matter. Like, I remember seeing her dad walk around with the house phone clipped to his pocket while her and her mama was going out working. But he was at home babysitting the little girl. I was like, he don't work. Now, I ain't asked no question because I'm new to the situation. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know them like that. I said, I'm just gonna sit back in the chair. I'm like, why does this grown ass man have this phone clipped to him? Is he waiting on a job call, or maybe he hustle? Something wrong. He's just a grown ass man walking around with a phone, but all the women in the house is going out to work. They're going out working. So what you doing? You know, that's why I say every little girl is not seeing that, because somebody mom is not practicing that. That's why I say and that's why I say I hate these new age words that everybody's coming up with, these labels to fit in and all this type of stuff. Let's just call it what it is. Some of us got parenting skills, some of us don't. Like, I can honestly say my mom, good parent, single parent, yes. That's where I get it from. Being strong, learn how to discipline, learn how to, have a little balance, because at the end of the day, the kids need us as parents to step up. But when we're lacking because that inner child of us is still hurt, we can't properly parent. We can't properly show our kids how to be something that we're not. If we're constantly battling the little girl when we go to our mama house and that mom is talking down to us, that's what our kids gonna see, and they're gonna think that's how things are supposed to be, when actuality is not supposed to be like a competition. Like I tell mine all the time. Matter of fact, I just got onto it the other night. You where you are because that's where I want you to be. Because what I'm trying to do is catapult you forward from where I had to start. I want to give you the jump start in life. I want you to see something else. But if you're living in I'm gonna say what the lady said, in a world that doesn't show you anything better, how you gonna know something better except for what you see on Instagram? So that's the life you're gonna chase, not knowing you falling yourself into a rabbit hole. like Alice in Wonderland, because you wondering why it ain't working, like these pictures are showing you. And now they done add the videos. So, if you've been on Instagram long enough, it was just pictures. Now they just roll over to this video and stream it. But that's my take. I think I went a little too long. I'm sorry.
May I go humble?
Absolutely.
So I think what Ms. Taken said in the back chat was very important, because what I see is men are saying, women, I don't want to raise a daughter. I want you to be my wife. But women are saying the same things. We weren't taught. We kind of need that. It's kind of what Lost in Translation talked about a while ago, as far as tempering each other. So I'm what comes to my mind is, I don't know who's Christian or who, is in the Bible these days, but
I was about to go there.
Hosea. God commanded Hosea to go, this whole city is trash. I need you to go marry this woman who's a whore and take some kids under your wing and start to get it back on the same track. And so I don't know what to do with Prototype's issue, which is a real issue, which is I don't want to have to raise you into how to be a wife. But then you're dealing with a bunch of women who aren't taught how to be wives. So where's the grace as far as being willing to develop each other? To kind of bite off of Give Me a Second podcast up there. So I know me and my wife, we came into it with vision and shared values, right? But then life be lifing. And I had to adjust some things and she had to adjust some things. But the point of our positive, fruitful marriage is that we did those things together. So I'm trying to figure out, like, where's the grace at with that?
Who you asking? Who you asking?
Well, I was Prototype, but Lost in Translation got his finger up. I know you're about to drop some bars.
It's only going to take three seconds, man. I'm not going to hold y'all up. That's the reason why I said women should be unselfish. You know what I mean? Because even if you're unselfish and you're not skilled, the unselfishness will allow your room for your gift to flourish. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Because if you don't, it's safe. If you don't know, what to do, you can always ask somebody what to do. But if you never make it up in your mind to even ask somebody what they need, I mean, that's your selfishness rubbing up against, and you can't develop that way, whether you know how to develop someone else or yourself or not.
So, to mistake.
Hold on. Oh, okay. Go ahead, Robert. I was just making sure you was the one that was going. Go ahead.
Yeah, my fault. Sorry about that. So, mistaken. I heard what you said, and I ain't gonna lie. I love everything that you said. I speak to development all day long because my mama told me when I was younger, it's gonna take somebody very special to love you. And so, to the point, for real, she said, it ain't gonna be nobody regular. It's gonna take somebody special. But to Prototype's point, I'm thankful for that. To some degree, we as parents, we got to raise our children, women specifically, to know the basics. So I'm all about the basics, right? But at the same time, I need you to be able to develop with me, like we've been talking about this whole time, have the grace to grow with me and have the grace to adjust, because who I am today is not who I'm going to be in 10 years. And so your ability to develop, your ability to expand, to add things to your basket, to be able to change as we change and love me through all of my seasons, learn them first, but then love me through them. I think that's important, because if you know too much, you're not coachable. If you know too much, I can't train. When I say train, I don't mean train like an animal. I don't mean that. But I mean set conditions that allow us to work together. What I needed, and I'm gonna just, quick story, but where I am now, okay, and where I was when my fiance first met me are two different people. I was low. I was in a bad place, equally successful, but just in a low place mentally. I'm in a way different place now. And so I have to remind her on several occasions that I'm not the guy you met, a year and a half ago. I'm a totally different man. And if she didn't have the versatility to develop and grow with me, then, we would, at some point, we would go different directions, because she wouldn't have any ability to change with me. And so I think development is important, mistaken. And I'm willing to work with somebody that's coachable any day of the week, as long as you're good at the basics. As long as you can shoot, pass, and dribble, I can teach you how to run the offense. You know what I'm saying? And since as it relates to the question, it says, why is accepting truth important? I mean, you got to understand to what degree of truth, right? Because everybody's metric and degree of truth is different. And so that has to be a foundation laid first. Like, what is truth? But whatever truth you decide to accept, I believe it's important, because it won't let delay take as long. And the only thing I can do at some point, I always go back to the Bible like you did, Jay Zilla. But I'm tempted to talk about the people that took 40 years to be delivered from themselves. You know what I mean? The Israelites out of Egypt and stuff like that took 40 years for a reason, because they had to get some things off of them, had to get some things through them, and they had to get some things to them. And that stuff takes time, but it don't have to take as long as that. So accepting truth allows you to omit delay a little bit, allows you to shorten that up a little bit. It allows the trials, like you said, Prototype. I ain't got to learn as many lessons if I just accept the truth. I don't have to touch stoves to know that it's hot. Somebody can just tell me. I can see by example. And so accepting truth early, allows me to, I say it like this: the earlier I accept the truth, the faster I get to live in what I'm supposed to do or what I'm called to do versus what's holding me back. I want to have more good days than bad days. And I think the truth does that for us. So,
absolutely. What it is that, in my estimation, is that people are missing Christ, because in order to accept truth, you have to realize that you are flawed because of how we came into this world. And that's a truth that needs to be understood in order to even come to Christ. And then once you begin to live a Christian lifestyle, then in the Bible, it tells you that every day you got to die to yourself. So if you're not willing to die to yourself, then that means you're not willing to accept the truth about that you're being flawed and you need a savior in order for you to even get to the point of getting to heaven. But not only that, when the Holy Spirit comes in, he is the one that's trying to tell you the right thing to do. But if you're saying, I know what's right, then that means that you're not willing to even accept the truth to even be changed. And every day we are supposed to be getting better. And a part of that getting better is a purification, the sanctification process, where there are going to be some things that you're going to face that you're like, okay, I got to get this out of me. And especially I know we talk about men and women. I talk about men and women, but I'm specifically talking to women about women today, is that if women would understand that it does not mean that you're a horrible person or a bad person, or that, that if somebody says give you a truth about something, right? It just means that you can get closer quicker to where you're trying to get to, right? So for example, if we use the analogies of if I'm driving and I get lost. Matter of fact, we were traveling to Atlanta, matter of fact, and I got lost I missed the exit. But if I was to say, you know what, I didn't miss no exit, I'm just going to figure it out and go from here, then I would have been more lost and more out of the way than I was supposed to if I would have just, and what I did was I went ahead and said, okay, I realized that I missed my exit. Let me get to the next exit as quick as possible so I can turn around and go in the right direction. Right? Y'all heard that word. Hopefully you heard
I know exactly which exit you talking about too. You took B instead of A, didn't you?
Listen,
in the junction. I know exactly where it's at.
I just really don't want to talk about it because I got made.
I'd have missed that exit so many times. Humble that it'll get you every time, man.
But as soon as you realize that you are in error, people that play sports know this for sure, right? You want to make your mistake early and quick because your recovery is going to be that much better if you go ahead and admit that you made a mistake as opposed to not admitting it, right? So with that being said, did everybody go on this question? I feel like I missed somebody. Jamie, did I miss you?
Yeah, but y'all took all my good answers. See, I wrote them down over here in this thing, and everybody took all my good answers, like
bad answers.
Every last one of them. So then my smart answer would be, because people say that they want honesty in a relationship and they want the truth. And so it would make sense to accept the truth, or why accepting the truth is important is because you asked for it. And it's just literally that. If we say that honesty is what we want in a relationship, we don't want a guy that lies to us, we don't want this, we want the truth, then you're going to have to accept what you asked for. And that's just it. So I can't say the other stuff because Robert said my answer is over here. Then you hopped over on Humble Dad and you said my other answer. And so, now I had to sound like this. And I feel some type of way because I was like, prepared.
Not
Prepared.
right when-
You was ready to cook.
I don't
Welcome to
I
my
don't think women
world.
will ever get the truth out of men. Ever.
But why?
Because
Prototype.
I tried,
because
bro.
I say that because when we tell you the truth and we don't get good results, and we see dudes that lie to y'all get better results, we're going to lie too. The rest of us is going to start lying because that's what we see works. So,
All right. All
like,
right.
if you let a dude lie to you and then he gets what he wants, and we're like, dang, all I had to do was lie. I'm lying next time. I'm lying from here on out. So y'all never going to get the truth until y'all reward the truth and stop rewarding lies.
You sound
I
like
thought y'all got discernment. I thought y'all got women's intuition. Y'all can't tell when somebody lying to y'all.
That's
Wow.
why. That's
You
why.
sound
Why
like
is there not an
I-
exclusion going on?
hold on. He sounds like
Oh.
Barry
We can
Bonds
tell.
watching McGuire and Sosa, right? Oh, they using steroids, so I'm about to get on it. Like, man, listen, me and Humble talked on our show, Urban Academia. Shameless plug. We talked about this on my show not too long ago about that very thing, Prototype. The idea that I was reading my Bible, I went celibate because the word was whooping me, and I told my girlfriend at the time, and she thought I was cheating, right? And so she ended up breaking up with me in a text message. But what I didn't realize is that my wife was preparing going celibate in her word, my now wife, right? We had known each other, but he was preparing her for me. And then I got to a point where I wanted to start preparing myself for a wife, not a girlfriend, but a wife. And so telling the truth, sometimes it leads to things like being broken up with in the text message, but it did ultimately lead me to something great, right? So this is like these things that we keep telling each other. I think this is stuff that men need to check other men about. Just like the comment that men gonna cheat, women should just deal with it. Like, matter of fact, Humble, please.
There ain't nobody on this show though.
First off, yes, Prototype, you better tell him. Prototype, you better tell him. And I want you, Humble, to talk to Prototype.
I better tell him what?
That very sentiment. You
What?
said on this show before and said that very thing. Women should
I
understand.
never said that.
You know what? I'll get back to you tomorrow. I'm gonna find that clip.
I said that. I don't think I said that.
I'll find the clip, but we do have men that say that. All right. I'm gonna
That
leave
say
Prototype
that it's
out
okay to
because I don't
cheat?
have-
I think Jay Zilla put me in a box. And he lumped me in a box with all these other guys, and you ain't got to the root of me. But it's cool though. I'm gonna let that slide.
I'm gonna fall back until I get those receipts. But I'm saying this idea is prevalent in today's times.
On
Where-
my podcast, they say black men don't cheat.
Yeah, black men, but black boys do. But here's what I'm saying: how can we tell the difference? And I think we have that wisdom through the Bible, fruits of the Spirit. That goes for women too. Are y'all showing the fruits of the Spirit? Then I can't frap with you. That's what I did with my then girlfriend. I don't want to have sex anymore. The Bible is whooping me. We both just go celibate and make this thing official, but the right way. She broke up with me in the text message, led me to my wife. You know what I mean? So this
But you like listen, as I interject into your point,
Please.
that goes to Prototype's point that she can't handle the truth.
And that's fine, but that's that woman and that type of man. Because what Prototype is talking about is the type of man that says that, man, I see these other dudes get the so-called box, which is a horrible way to talk about one of the greatest gifts God put on this planet. But whatever, we'll go with it, right? The
It's
idea
often
of looking at
mismanaged.
them
But go
You know,
ahead.
when you talk Jay Zilla, I always be like single mom, raised by single mom, raised by single mom to validate your
that's fine.
point.
You get your turn. Hold on. So what I'm saying is you got men out there that are saying they're cheating and lying and getting women to have sex. I'm going to do the same thing. That's a boy's mentality. That's not somebody with vision. That's not somebody with discipline. That's not somebody who's willing to do the right things to get a better class of woman. And then they complain about the woman that they get that falls for a lie like that. And the same thing is happening with women. These men are lying to them and they're going based off of that TikTok and Instagram and whatever the latest show is, or rap beef, right? And then they're complaining about, man, all these men out here are XYZ. And I'm tired of hearing it. As a good man and other good men on this panel, I feel like we should be tired of hearing that. That is not true. Most of us on here are married, I thought, right?
So-
and we also are men of Christ. So
It kind of goes to
Hold
the
on,
point earlier though of your dating pool,
Prototype,
right?
let me finish
Like,
real
no,
Oh,
that's
sir.
good. That's good. I'm done.
quick. Okay, go ahead, Proto.
So it goes to, like we was talking about dating pool earlier, right? And in some ponds, there really aren't no good fish. Like, that no good trout. All you're gonna find is catfish. You know what I'm saying? And when you're looking for trout, and like you got a lot of fishermen looking for trout, and all you got is catfish, them bottom feeders, man. You got to go where the trout is, and then you kind of change your perspective on, there are good people out here. Maybe I don't have to do X, Y, Z.
No. That's an easy way out, is what I'm saying.
It's not an easy way out. It's a reality, bro.
Let me ask you this.
One at a time. You got to talk.
Let me ask you this, Humble.
Yeah.
Right. Bible says you got two options: praise me single and celibate, or praise me in a marriage and sexually active. That's it. Now, if you decide to go outside that, you have to deal with those things, like getting bad fish. You only have two options as far as God is concerned.
Look,
right.
We're saved because we can't do it. We're not saved because we can't. So
you shouldn't be trying to, right?
No, I'm not. It's not about trying to, but it's better to marry than to burn, right? So we not saved. If we was perfect and can just go through the laws gracefully, then fine. There would be no reason for Christ. But evidently, there's a reason for Christ. So do with that as you will.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing though too that I've heard in these spaces that men say. One of the things that y'all say big time on is that the problem with women is that we don't have like discipline, right? But part of being a man is having discipline, right? So y'all will talk about having physical discipline, like being able to work out, being able to have mental discipline so you can, have your vision, work towards your goals, all the discipline in all of these areas, spiritual discipline or whatever. But as soon as we get to sexual discipline, everything else goes out the window. And it's like, no, that's different, but it's not. You have to be a man, and I would say even be a woman, and being, if you're saying that you're trying to reflect Christ, any of those things, all of those things require discipline, period. Reading your Bible, trying to, walk in the way that God has told us to walk. Is not to say that we won't fall, but we should always be striving to walk right. So if the excuse is always going to be, well, if we wasn't going to get it right, then why try it all? Like, that is a cop-out. That's just saying that my flesh, I have a desire for the physical aspect of having sex. And this is just one area that I'm not willing to put in the work to discipline myself. Like we are talking about being truthful. We have to be honest about that. That's one of the hardest areas, especially if you've already, done it. That's one of the hardest areas to discipline yourself, as well as food. Like, those are the two areas that are very difficult for most people, because both of those things are kind of a need, a biological need. You need food. And you have your biology working against you. We want to have sex and you can't. So, I mean, if we're talking about honesty, we have to be truthful with ourselves about the fact that it's hard to discipline ourselves in those areas. Let's not make excuses and just say, I'm not willing to work on that area right now.
That's good. This is what I hear, right? That's good. Okay, so from the perspective that Jayzilla is saying, we're cut differently than everyone else. So we should operate from the position of how the word is carried out. Is that fair to say, Jayzilla? We should stand apart. All right. So what Prototype is saying, that the guy that is challenged, and he's simply saying that if women want the truth, then they have to reward it. That's what he's saying, right? So because what he said was that if if the dude lies to get sex, if that's the situation, then because everybody can be, because people can be a Christian and you still be immature as a Christian, right? And you still are going to do things that you shouldn't do. So for example, if he's a young pup in the word, he still may think that going to having sex is okay. Like I know people still that feel that way, right? They haven't been convicted of that just yet. But what Prototype is saying, that what that young dude sees is that woman over there, or women in general, heard the guy finagle, if you will, or say the right things or do the things that is out of character and still win. Right? New England got a Super Bowl because they cheated. I'll just put that out there real quick.
Stop
Right?
with the lies. Stop with the lies and the shenanigans.
That's what's out there, is what I'm saying.
That's what Tom Brady said in his
You know what?
It's roast.
So
You know what,
I'm
Humble Dad?
I'm gonna finish real quick. I'm gonna put it down here, and I got you lost. What I'm saying is that both can be right. Like Prototype is saying that women are accepting lies and rewarding lies, but they're saying they want truth. Like Jamie said, if you want the truth, then you gotta accept the truth, right? What you're saying, Jay Zilla, we need to live differently than everyone else, and we need to live out the truth, which is also a true statement. He's saying that it's a challenge to live out truth if somebody is not rewarding that truth. Every man wants to be, I'm talking about men, wants the woman to appreciate what it is that he has done for her. And he's being, so if he's giving her flowers, I think y'all may have seen it. Jeannie, whatever her name is, they got divorced from Jesus.
Jeannie Mai.
Thank you. She is a clip out there currently. She's saying it was this guy for 2 years was giving her all of these things, and then all of a sudden it changed. Well, the comments would suggest that he did something wrong. I would suggest that she didn't reciprocate, right? Because no man is going to continue to give to you and just automatically stop if you had been doing the exact same or something similar to that, right? So what I'm saying is that both can exist, and what needs to happen is women need to handle the truth in a mature way. Because I know we got to go. Lost, go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Yeah, I want to speak to what you said, Humble Dad, and to piggyback off what Prototype said. You have to reward the behavior that you want to see. There's a clip of Tupac when he was 17 years old in art school. You know, he said, the girl, I try to be nice to him, you know, they rag on me or whatever. And then all of a sudden he turns into a thug, and then he got all the women he can stand. You know what I mean? It's all because of that's the type of person they wanted. So guess what? He became the man that y'all wanted, you know? And God forbid it, he ain't here no more. But, you know, that's the consequences of your choices. You see what I'm saying? So to speak to what Prototype said and what Humble Dad said, you're absolutely correct. You know, you have to reward what you want. And as you can see, our community has rewarded the majority of people who don't reflect who we want to be.
I got a problem with this whole conversation. I ain't even gonna lie.
I appreciate that.
I ain't even gonna sit here and tell you no lie. I think
He just did a prototype.
It's crazy. Lost in
I
translation.
disagree.
Lost in translation. Great point. Everybody, great point. But we sitting up here talking about Jay Zilla's sex, like we need to stop acting like, because you said discipline, right? And like the truth of the matter is, a lot of people ain't got it. They just got married to cover up their immorality. You know what I'm saying? Like they got married, and so what they do is they get on this podcast and they start talking about, oh, men are set apart. We're different. We should be cut from a different cloth. Be set apart. That's stupid. Because I know too many pastors that are sitting here condemning everything that they did, you know, before they use marriage to justify their, you know, their perversions, man. Like we got people that are dealing with like all kind of stuff, and they're hiding behind hiding behind a wife. You know what I'm saying? A whole married man looking at child, blank that word out. You know what I'm saying? Like stop it. So don't get on here with that. And because we got people that are listening to this that now, instead of feeling like, okay, what that whole transformation process, this is why I don't even want to live in my truth, because my truth is being judged. You know what I'm saying? My truth is being condemned. And I think you pull people out of what that looks like, but it ain't a discipline thing. It's an accountability thing. And it goes back to what I said earlier, why I said, like, what metric of truth? What method of truth do you stand on? Okay, and do we agree? Do we have the same metric of truth, even if we're not in the same place in life? And so you develop and you grow together. And so going back to what Prototype said, man, like, there are people at the end of the day, stop it. We all done got rewarded from a lie. We done all cheated on the test at some point. We done all said we took the trash out, knowing we didn't, knowing we're going to take it out in the morning. We done all paid a bill late, not me. But you know what I'm saying? Like stop it. Like, with all this, I live within the truth, and I want my truth to be honored, because the truth of the matter is we've all been rewarded by a lie. You know what I'm saying? We done all told folk that we fasted and didn't. Pastor say, hey, who all fasted this Sunday? Who all fasted this week? Hand go up knowing you ate at lunch. Stop playing, y'all. That's all I got. Y'all play too much.
Hey, I think that's the genius of God, though. He's saying if you exhibit certain things, you are blank. If you exhibit the opposite, you belong to something else. Now,
man, give me a second. Man, drop a bomb for that, man.
I'm about to eat you up.
Hold on a second. Robert, I got one question. Hold on a second. Robert, I got one question. Should your truth not be tested?
Definitely. You don't know what the truth is unless it's tested. I'm just saying, but my thing is when we start talking about truth and versus accountability and what's awarded versus not rewarded, at some point in every aspect of life, we all gonna take the shortest open path first. You know what I'm saying? We all gonna take the least path of resistance. This is why we got ladies out here getting surgery instead of going to the gym and working out. Like, stop it. You know what I'm saying? We got, and dudes too. We got dudes buying abs. I'm just saying. So my thing is, it goes back to what I said 30 minutes ago. It's about metric of truth. And all I'm saying is, don't get in here and start talking about one verse that you happen to follow, and there's 10 other ones that you don't, talk about I stand on my truth. Nah, because there's a whole bunch of secrets you just don't know about that you're just not talking about. That's all I'm saying.
And that's the main reason why I said your truth should be tested.
Beat me not.
Everybody has their own version of the truth until you met up against its consequences.
That's the problem.
You see what I'm saying? Just like I told Robert the other day, I said, Robert, I appreciate you for being honest. Even if it rubs up against me wrong, I said, if you're wrong, if you're right and I'm wrong, I accept it, because it helps me to get to the desired outcome faster. I told him that backstage. You see what I'm saying? So that's the whole reason why Humble Dad asked the question earlier, how can women handle the truth? The bottom line is, you have to allow them to have the truth that they have tested against reality. Because what we do is we actually take the bumpers in life and we coddle women. You see what I'm saying? So they're not really tested against real truth. If you ever go to the bowling alley and you see those little bumper lanes that's put up for the kids, that's basically how we do a lot of women. We like to give them things that protect them from reality. But in essence, if you take away those bumpers, you would have to be skilled at bowling now. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is, sometimes, yes, you should have the bumpers up, but over time, as you get good, the bumpers have to come down, especially if you're going to be a wife, and especially if you're going to be a mother, because the information that you have to impart wisdom upon them is going to be based upon what you have learned, not what somebody has carried you through.
I just
hear what I said.
One actually took the words.
Hold on, mistake, because Jamie had been wanting to go, and then
I'm so sorry, Jamie. I'm sorry.
You didn't know. It's okay. Go ahead, Jamie.
Mistaken. I think I'm gonna let you go, and then I'm gonna just, because I wanted to give an answer how women should take the truth, only because I answered it on cruise season. You want me to just answer it? Okay, so the guy on cruise season had a clip, and he said that what transpires is, and I think Prototype said this last week, that when men tell the truth to women, they don't like the reaction. And I stated in the comments that you guys are going to have to be able to handle the reaction and give us the room to process what you just told us, depending on what this truth is. But also, we're going to go what to Robert said, is now when you give us this truth, what is the accountability going to look like? How are we going to make sure that this of what you did or whatever has transpired, whatever this looks like, it doesn't matter what this is, either if it's my truth that has affected you or may have offended you, what is my accountability going to be to you? How are we going to change this behavior so that this does not affect this relationship or the ultimate goal in the relationship? And so it's really just allowing people the room and the space to process. And you have to know your person's temperament when you're about to say this thing. When you about to say, if you're with the person, you gonna know how they're gonna react, period. You're gonna know she about to be real mad. So she may say things and I'm gonna have to either be able to put a wall up for a minute and allow these things to be said until she processes through it, or I'm going to get offended or start being defended and then start attacking her and making it worse, or vice versa, right? But you know who you're with. It's the fact that we want somebody to react the way that we want them to react when we tell them. We want them to be like, oh, okay, that didn't really hurt my feelings. Let me be like Christ and forgive you right now. That ain't going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You have to give people the room and the space to be like, bruh, I cannot believe you just told me that. Like, I can't believe you like broke my trust like that, right? And then you have to say, well, okay, you wanted to tell me this truth. You still want to be with me. What is the accountability going to be like? Because we're not going to just sweep it under the rug, because I'm a human being. I am not Jesus. I'm trying to be perfected like Christ, but this is not that. So what are we going to do to hold, just like Robert said, one another accountable to be the best versions of ourselves in this situation? And that's really that simple. We have to stop trying to like overly make it complicated, because people are simple-minded. So we have to be simple-minded just like them. Let's just keep it simple. You want the truth? I'm going to give it to you. When I give it to you, I'm going to have to be able to handle what you say. After you're done ranting and raving, now let's be accountable for what this is. I want to stay with you. I want to be around you. I like you. I just, I like doing that. And if you don't like that and I really want to be with you, then let's see how I could hold myself accountable so that it doesn't happen no more. Right? So that I could be a better person. Because obviously this is not going to be good, because I'm not going to find somebody else that really wants to deal with that. And if I do, I might not like them. I might not really like them. I might like the thing that is afflicting me, but I might not really like them. You see what I'm saying? So that's my answer. That's it. It's just real simple. That's it. And if we train our kids early on to accept truth, you feel me? Then when they get older and they come up in these relationships, they won't run into the things that we have. It's really just letting our kids know, no, you are being bad right now, bruh, and you're about to get this whooping today because you're bad. Okay. And when I say when we get to the house, I'm a spank you, we gotta keep the truth, right? And we gonna whoop her when we get home. All right, bro, get that belt, because I told you in the car I was gonna whip you for what you did in that store. Don't get home and forget what you said. We all have to stay accountable and just keep it 100. That's it. All right, that's my answer.
Good. I really wish your internet was working better when you said all of that, Jamie. Because
it's fine.
It was so dope.
Humble, if I may.
I think it was mistaken. Listen, y'all trying to take up all the time. Okay? We gonna listen, Jay-Z. It's not my fault that you only want Mondays on the first Monday. That ain't my fault. That's on you. Okay, mistaken. And then we
kind of hit a little bit of what I was getting at is about knowing your partner, not necessarily your partner not being able to handle the truth, but it's the way that the truth is delivered. Delivery is very important. And what I mean by that is I, as anybody, actually, we was talking about this on Friday, that a lot of times when men speak to women, they would say things the way that they would say it to their boys or say it to another man. And as a woman, we will respond very differently to the way that you speak to each other, because we're not your boys. We're not a man. We don't, y'all will be like, yo, eat that, like that kind of stuff. Suck it up. Like, we're not built like that, especially with somebody that we care about in an intimate relationship like that, right? Because we want to appear, or at least feel like we're perfect for them and doing the right thing. And not saying that we know logically we're not, but it's about the delivery. And so I think it's very important. Like I said on Friday about a guy speaking to, so this is how I'm built, right? The way that you speak to me at time, and I think most people are, they reflect that same energy back, right? And so if you say something to me that's in a harsh tone or something like that, my automatic response is to mirror that, right? And then as a man, you're going to take that as disrespect, but not understanding that I felt disrespected. And so I think it's very important for men to understand how to talk to the woman, just like women need to understand how to talk to men. Like when we come across like they say, oh, you're acting masculine. And one dude said, well, if you approach me like a man, I'm gonna stop thinking that you're a woman if you talk to me a certain way, right? So you have to watch your tone and delivery with a man. But the men don't understand that that same thing needs to be given to us as a woman. If you want me to act in my feminine, then you have to talk to me in my feminine. So it's not about us not being able to understand or handle the truth. It's about the way the truth is delivered.
No, y'all can't.
You know what happens when we say things nicely to y'all? Y'all be like, you're too weak.
Hold on. Because we have to wrap this up. It sounds like another conversation, because I like people out of church on time. All right. Listen, I remember when Monique said something about y'all bonnets and y'all went wilding. A lot of women, I won't say most, but it was a lot of women telling her she don't need to be talking. Kevin Samuels typically did not speak mean to women. Most times he did not. And I only knew that because somebody, my late wife is the one that even sent me his information. But what women are wanting is that they want to be seemingly to be appeased with the words. It has to be, because if it were tone, I agree. Because the Bible tells us as husbands that we need to deal with our wives in a certain way. Jesus, when he spoke to whoever he was speaking to and met them where they were. So I concur. I agree. The problem when a man is talking to a woman, even when he's speaking to her in the tone that she likes, she will find it that what he said, he shouldn't have said it. It would have been timing if it wasn't tone. It would have been which words he decided to use. One of those. and instead of doing what Jamie said, listen, just accept this truth. And then me, I'm telling her the truth. And I got to be okay with I don't have to be okay, but I got to be ready for her response. Even if I don't like her response, I have to have self-control. That's a fruit of the spirit. Me and Dwayne just talked about this today. That she's going to be angry with what I said. And I got to know that she's going to be angry. And I got to know that we still going to be here regardless of, whoever that couple is. We're going to still be here because we said we were going to be honest with one another. And honesty is going to hurt. But I'm here to let you know that if we're on the same team, the goal is not to hurt you. It's to make you better. And just so you know, when Christ is trying to make us better, it hurts. It's an uncomfortable thing that is what change is. And so if you're trying to get better, know that it's going to be some processes of challenges and hurts that there. So I need everybody to make sure you go check out Jayzilla. Okay. Go ahead and go hit the like button on everything that he got going. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to Lost in Translations podcast. He's doing great things on these airwaves. You got Give Me a Second podcast. Make sure you go check him out for sure. He does really good at breaking down even these conversations on a grander scale, if that makes sense. Then you got Mistaken that's on the Lapeef Network on Fridays. She's doing a thing at 8:30, 9:30, 10ish. It's what she always says.
Well, She Critique.
She Critique, where the women get their perspective and they talk about it from a woman's angle. Then you got Ash, who's doing her thing on IG. Go check her out. She gonna tell you that she's going through the hood now instead of downtown. You know what I'm saying, where all the professionals are. Okay.
You gonna know it. You gonna know it by my attitude. You gonna know it.
Listen, we can tell when you get on here what your attitude is for sure. And then you got it's me, Jamie. I really enjoy when she has the podcast with the wives and they talk about how they were not raised to be a wife, but now they are, and the things that they have learned. I think that's a dope angle as well. Then you got Prototype, who's talking to men about men things and all things that's concerning men and to be better as a man. So I want to thank all you for your time, and you're welcome to come back anytime. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. We're growing. We almost have 1,100 subscribers. We need about 17 more. And you know what? And we're going to do what we do. We out here. Until next time. Deuces.
The boy is dangerous.
Bad feeling about this. You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world.